how do you handle team members or friends that want to usurp your leadership? So they, you're leading, and all of a sudden they they're going to push their way into the front of you and take over.
That's such a great question, because I've experienced that before. And a lot of times people act out of a place of lack. Maybe they worked a job where they were always silenced, or they never got to speak. And so they see the opportunity to finally have their voice be heard and appreciated. And so every now and then, like maybe they speak over me, or there's a moment where my idea is disregarded because they think their idea is better. I let them have that moment, because oftentimes in the end, they come back and they say, oh, Glo, actually, the last call, I think did I come across this way? I'm sorry if people don't intentionally try to outshine you, and just, it really comes from a place of like, they're overcompensating from an insecurity that they probably haven't recognized. So I try to hold space for that. If it gets out of hand, I might, have a private conversation like, hey, on calls, I would appreciate, I'll come to you if you have something to say. I'll make sure there's time at the end where I allow you to, vocalize your thoughts and ideas. But I would love to be able to get all of my thoughts out in the beginning, XYZ. But yeah, I try not to make it a big deal, because I think people already feel embarrassed when they feel called out. So I never want to make them feel like, oh my God, every time I'm talking, like you're always so rude. I'm like, hey, and I almost like, I'm a little bit like, let's try this. Again, going back to the language of effective communication. Why don't we try? But at the end of the calls, do
I love that.
Cool.
I love that. Thank you.
Amazing, of course.
How do you handle people on a team who are the diva and making drama?
Yeah, I have had those people. You've had those people, I'm sure, man. It's just the nature of having teams. So one, I have always have done this, because you never know. I have private conversations to let them know. I've had this. I had a staff of 19 personal trainers. If you want to talk about divas, imagine the ladies who are rocked out and in shape and like they're the leaders. So I have to have private conversations, and I got to anchor them back to the part of the fact that they're part of a team and they affect people. And so when I have those individuals, I need to make them aware of the label on their jar. Not in a way that's deprecating. I don't want to make them feel bad. I'm not saying to make them feel bad. You have to show them who they are in comparison to where the ship is going and their role in the ship and what's needed. And so typically I would have the conversation of like, here's the language, here's what I'm hearing. Well, who told you? It's not the case. It's not about who told me. Just know what's going on and just aware. But here's the thing. You're not by yourself. We're all a team. I'm going to help you. And then I'm big on getting on. I tell people this. Whenever you have those moments and you've told them who they are and they're like, all right, we can be on opposite sides of the table. It's the way I look at a lot of relationship stuff. I can be over here and push the problem to them and say, go solve it, and walk away and push it to them. And they can go, it's not my problem, and push back and forth, and eventually goes away. Or I can walk around the table, get in the same side as them and pull the problem in. I become an ally. I go, great. It's not my problem, but it affects all of us. Let us pull this problem in. How can I help you solve this? What's going on? Like, you become a friend, you become a guy, you become an ally, and you'd be surprised that energy of the diva is coming because of something typically going on inside. It's expressing itself in that manner. If you could find out what it is by working together on it, you find it kind of disappears. And that energy comes out in a more positive, connecting way for the team later.
How do you deal with the guilt or potential shame of asking for support as a leader? Because sometimes that's really difficult if you're the high performer, or you have that positional authority and you're struggling. How do you ask for help?
So I look at asking for help as a gift for someone else. So one of my friends, Allie Stroker, she is in a wheelchair. She's a Broadway actress, one of the first Broadway actresses that's been like world renowned. She's incredible. And I remember she gave me the gift of this nugget, and she said, I don't need help with my wheelchair, but sometimes knowing that I can give someone the opportunity to feel helpful is a gift to them, even if it's taking something away from me for just a moment. And I thought about that a lot because she's so independent. She's fiercely just so vibrant and independent. And I thought about that. And she said, sometimes I just humble myself to let people help because they feel good about being the helper. And we've all heard that quote, like Mr. Rogers, where it's like, whenever there's a crisis, like look around, there will always be helpers. Sometimes people need that significance. They need that, that ability to feel helpful. And so when I look at asking for help, I don't look at it as a weakness. I look at it as an opportunity to give someone else strength. And so it can really transform the way you feel about it. And asking for help is like flexing a muscle, right? Like the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And so I just always think about what Allie said. And she's like, sometimes it's not about me. It's just to give them the gift of being a helper. And I think that when you grow a team that can really honor other people's gifts, it's not a bad thing to ask for help.
I love that. I love that. I would also say it's 100% your job as a leader. And what I mean by that is if the leader's job is to help set and protect and curate the culture,
Yeah.
you have to ask yourself, okay, let me get over my ego here. And would the team see me asking for help?
Yes.
Set a precedent that is behavior that we do on this. And I think that's really important for everyone to see. Is like the number one thing I taught through the pandemic to all our high performers was we must adopt the role model mindset during this time.
Absolutely.
We want to do for our creature comforts or our safety or because our political affiliations or this, but it's like, okay, what's the precedent I want to set here? How would I like my family, my team, other people to see me behave in this difficult situation or this difficult time? Because they'll remember it.
Yeah.
They'll remember how I responded. They'll remember how vulnerable or transparent I was. They'll remember the tone that I set.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. The reason you ask for help is you are setting the tone of permission.
Yep.
People can be vulnerable. Otherwise, if you're a leader and you never ask for help, what happens is you struggle for 3 months. Now, guess what? There's 3 or 4 other people on your team struggling for 3 or 4 months. The whole company becomes lethargic because people don't feel the permission, the courage to ask for help.
Yes.
I think that's so vital. And I love the frame of, hey, you're not just doing this. You're not just asking for help to get your necessarily your needs served, but also it's helping other people in some way, whether giving them permission or actually making them feel helpful. I think that's incredible.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remembered, you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.